Oxygen Esports rise when other teams known as Titans in North America have fallen, and now they face another one with the General NRG. My name's Dazzer, and join with me is Stumpy. Stumpy, are you ready to roll?
I'm ready, Dazzer, and it's nice to talk to you again as well. Last time we saw each other over at the Fall Major. It's amazing to have the RLCS back and to be in the booth with one of the kings. Oh, what a world we are settling in for. Daz, you know I love you, and it's completely fine.
Listen.
General NRG, mate, though, they're your team. They're your team, right? Oxygen, there's somebody that I would rate their roster move as one of the best that we've seen throughout this entire Roster Mania season. Gimmick is a huge pickup.
And we need to see exactly how far that goes. Gimmick almost actually putting on the first goal right after the kickoff, forcing Squishy to make a save. And Squishy on the transition is going to score on one of his former teammates. Instant transition for NRG.
I mean, Gimmick with a pretty weak shot as well, realistically. And Squishy doesn't even need to outpace anybody. LJ sort of in the vicinity to try and receive the ball. Isn't able to. 12 seconds for NRG to go ahead. But that wasn't quite their story yesterday, Daz. Started off a little bit slow. And the question about NRG is typically, even though they start slow, can they ramp it up? 9 times out of 10, they really can. They can bring it back to them winning an event over and over again. And in North America, that is where they are definitely the most comfortable.
We want to see that comfortability here as well. LJ looking pretty comfortable with the flip reset, forcing Garrett G to go up a little bit early on that play. Double commit there coming out on the defense from NRG, and you're seeing Oxygen, no strangers to getting in front of the ball, no strangers to pushing that one in front of NRG's third, but they got to worry about those transitions. You saw Garrett G with that air dribble just there. Already the first minute, it's been filled with teams bringing out a little bit of solo plays here and there, but also Oxygen doing their best to deny. Justin got bumped over to the side as he tried to pick that ball up. They're not trying to let NRG get comfortable here, Stumpy.
No, not at all. I mean, Gimmick then had a really good chances to push up on the ball, even if he couldn't meet it, but instead lets the ball roll past, lets it fall into NRG's corner and gets the boost instead. I'd rather him go ball there, let his teammate pick up, than he can rotate back around, because NRG, they're going to accept that free ball as often as you want, and they're going to do a lot of good with it, and it's led to this absolutely huge counterattack.
Exactly. Of course, you know, I watched NRG yesterday. Anytime they have freedom with the ball, anytime they have space in that midfield, they're going to take advantage of it all the way. And now they are seeming to be a little set up. Free backboard. Garrett G is going to go up, put the shot in. Everybody goes up, but no one's stopping that one. 2-0 NRG.
2 players go up to try and battle against Garrett G, but neither of them read it. Gimmick, in fact, sending Toasty to the moon.
Oh, my goodness.
LJ bounced off the top of his car. Wrong place, wrong time. It was going in regardless, but having 2 goals coming from NRG pretty early on in this game as well, the first one after 12. We're going to need to see a return from Oxygen as soon as we can. Garrett trying to remove LJ from the pitch there. And a stat earlier the Waypoint brought up on the desk was there has been a single goal scored by the losing team so far today. And we've had 2 series already play. I want to see Oxygen, if they do lose this, I want them to buck that trend and give us a close one.
Yeah, you can see some potential here for, you know, a lot of fight on Oxygen. When they move upfield, they're getting bumps on NRG. They definitely have the mechanics here, but some of that, sometimes that leads to breakdowns. Every time they've been on defense, it just seems like they're either a little too slow or they play so fast that they get in each other's way, as you saw from that last goal that Garrett G had scored. So for them, it's just kind of about, you know, everybody playing on the same pace, definitely getting some disruptions in the midfield, which we haven't seen yet. NRG had full reign to carry the ball downfield. As we approach the bottom half of game 1, LJ tries for a carry. Squishy's there to meet it. Toasty plays that out, but Gimmick's kind of far. He has to reach for that, and that's going to kill the offense there for Oxygen.
I mean, you make a great point about Oxygen as well, because there's going to be a couple of those teething errors. They're going to come in, it's still a new team. And hey, if you're still in that teething error part of your team's timeline and you're getting a top 8, it's a great place to be. You know, you can have much more established teams do worse than that. So Oxygen looking to be in a great place, but LJ not in a good place whatsoever. Ball not hitting car, instead Justin can hit it in the net.
Yeah, this is a great challenge from Squishy. A little bit of a breakdown. Like you said, LJ can't get there. Gimmick's getting bumped. No one home for Oxygen. And NRG are just able to take full control once again. They've set the tone here with a 3-goal lead. And, you know, I think a lot of people had questions on the General NRG, especially when you look at how they did day 1. Of course, everyone said, you know, they had an easy group. But watching those games, it definitely didn't seem easy. The first series of the day to RBG, they almost lost. They went 5. And what? Wait.
No. No, no. You cannot do that gimmick. That was an open net, and there was nobody attacking. It's hit the crossbar. Just wait literally half a second more and get a goal. That is abysmal play from a former world champion. I can see that you just look baffled.
I feel like he... what? I feel like he tried to miss it. Like, that's the thinking. That's what it looks like. It was that free. I'm thinking, okay, it's a goal. I gotta, work on how I'm gonna transition this, and it just goes off the bar. A minute left, man, in game one, and this one, I don't know. I just don't see Oxygen coming back from this at all after that miss.
They have to shake that off. Like, looking at that, we can laugh about it all we want, and my God, do I want to laugh. But that is something that you need to look at and say, okay, no problem, go again. We'll get more chances. It's not a massive issue. In terms of shots, these guys are looking at 6 shots this game. Not that far away from NRG's 9. It's not actually being that different when it comes down to that final third. It's just with the conversion. Squishy there, missing an open net as well. What is literally happening right now?
Yeah, we need this game to be over immediately, the way this was going. 20 seconds, less than 20 seconds left. A couple of open net misses here on both sides, but the difference here, NRG up by 3. Final 10, and Squishy will try to see if he can muster up one last play for the general. Looks like it's going to get away from him. Keep in mind, this series a best of 7, and momentum, a key factor. Can Oxygen pick up one? They're going to try for it, and they can't get there in time. 3-0, game 1, NRG.
NRG is all taking that game with a lot of casual plays. Squishy missing that one. We can mock him all we want, but realistically, they still won it 3-0. Not a big issue whatsoever. Gimmick, pretend like your open net miss did not come in, because that was really quite terrible. 3-0 for NRG, very comfortable, but comfortability, Daz, you said it right at the start of this game, is it can work well for NRG. They're going to be working to position where, okay, you know what, we can beat this team. We'll play as hard as we need to beat them, and play as hard as we need to win. That's why yesterday they ended up going 3-2 in 2 of their series and then 3-1 in one of them. So it's a little bit of a scary position as far as I'm concerned, but it comes down to this now bracket. The bracket's harder. You got 2 lives up here, which is great for Oxygen by the looks of things, but you just need to try as hard as you possibly can.
Yeah, that's right. And for me, I think that looking at Oxygen, right, they definitely, again, they can get the ball upfield. They can almost set up some types of shots. The shot total for them, they were sitting at 7 that game compared to the general sitting at 10. So they're able to put on a decent number of shots, but nothing really too threatening for NRG. And we noticed that NRG, they didn't play perfect, right? We saw some of those misses from Squishy with the open net. We also saw double commits on the defense when the ball's being played off the back wall. The right amount of pressure, and you can't make the NRG defense crack. It's about whether or not Oxygen realized that in their play, because even though we see these mistakes, Oxygen, they have to fix their own, and uncharacteristic whiff, and that one will just go in.
Garrett G managing to take it from the right wall, misses the ceiling, doesn't need to go for it, instead speeds directly at the ball, punts it off the floor, underneath one, above the other. Another early lead for NRG. That's not what Oxygen need. You said about breaking the NRG defense. They have got holes in there. There are so many chances for NRG to crumble on defense. Maybe crumble's a harsh word, because ultimately NRG, the second best team in the world right now. It's going to be a tough ask, but Oxygen, they can get goals. They can get games in this series. It's the hardest opponent they could have possibly come up against, don't get me wrong, but they're still top 8 for a reason.
Right. And they took down a lot of top teams to get there. Envy, Complexity, both of those teams now out of the tournament. Oxygen sitting in a very comfortable spot. So even if they lose this series, they can still play another in the lower bracket. But of course, the best of 7 against the general NRG, you're still going to want to play your best, because again, these teams are all fighting for those top 5 positions. And if they can upset a team like NRG, that would be huge for them.
I mean, we look at the win-loss record from yesterday as well. NRG, they got through obviously 3-0 as did Oxygen, but Oxygen in a group that a lot of people would consider harder. As you said, it had Envy and Complexity in there, 2 major teams. They managed to get a better win-loss record than NRG by losing 1 less game. They did incredibly well in a stronger group. It's now on them to show that they can hang with the big dogs when they get their chance, and they've earned their chances to be up here. There's just a few small errors coming in. I hasten to say that it's down to nerves, but I do think it looks a little bit more like they haven't got Just stuff like that. They haven't
Yeah.
quite got the last 10% to make their hits count. They seem to be shocked when the ball finds them.
Yeah, they're definitely looking off, so to speak. And NRG are taking full advantage of it. I saw Garrett G earlier. He dodged the demo, still beat out the second man going up for Oxygen and force somebody else to half flip back so they could recover. Now there's a chance pass play. Gimmick! Oh, it's off the bar. Toasty, come in and clean it all up. And we got a tied up game.
Oh, that's a beautiful passing play. Starting from their own back third. 1-2-3 onto Gimmick, the double crossbar. Man loves his crossbars, but this time Toasty can tap it in. Brilliant goal. Game of the series so far. Much better than any of NRG's poultry 4 that they've scored. That one is a contender for a top play.
I don't know if I've ever heard the poultry reference before. That one was different for me. I'll take it, though. Justin, playing this with slow. NRG definitely going to try to see if they can get one back here quickly. Justin, does he have a flip? He does. Used it. Squishy comes up. The speed is there, but Toasty able to be in the right place at the right time to get that save.
Brilliant save as well. His positioning was just so nice on that inside post where I thought that was going in. Toasty, great positioning. Keep that up. But Squishy as well, receiving the passes like that from Justin. Keep reading it, and this series has got magic to come. Justin, though, with a goal for NRG, starting to clear up.
And Garrett G is so fast to that ball. Then gets that second touch where LJ thinks he has control. Justin's just there all the way, full faith. That's what makes this NRG team so special, the way they're able to work with each other and have faith as they move up the field. So they take the lead now. 2 minutes, 18 seconds left. They bounce back against Oxygen.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with NRG is they can keep going and keep getting nice little goals like that. Oxygen need to not let one goal go in and suddenly lose any of their faith. They've already got the monkey off their back by seeing that they're not going to be another perfect swept team today. That is a huge factor in the mentality, but Squish with 0 boost has to go up against Gimmick. Does so, just reads him like a book. That's what you get when you're against your former teammates sometimes. You know what they want to do.
Yeah, a lot of history there between Squishy and Gimmick especially. Squishy with a beat there. Justin tried to get a piece of that ball. LJ has the Gimmick on the wing. The Gimmick will jump up for this. Won't be able to make contact. Toasty had to dodge a demo. And you can see where Oxygen struggle when they move into that offensive end. NRG just kind of make things so hard for them at times.
Yeah, NRG, as much as we're talking about Oxygen, NRG make the game incredibly hard. They make it so hard to play against. And the fact that this is only a 1-goal deficit is great for Oxygen. They can certainly score more goals than they have done. There have been more chances, but a lot closer. Especially the chance to go central again. Garrett G with the pre-jump with the goal on time.
Oh my, here we go with Garrett. But look at this assist from Squishy. Able to get that extra speed. Gimmick came up so early to try to cut it off. They knew the danger that was there, but still not stopping that shot. Beautiful redirect from Garrett.
It was that perfect positioning as well from Squishy to send it below and in front of Gimmick, where theoretically he's made the right play there. He's gone up early, he's gone in the passing lane, but Squishy still snuck it round him. That is excellent. With less than a minute left as well, nearly a rocketed own goal finding the blue net, but 2 goals to come back from for Oxygen. Opportunities have been rearing themselves. Team plays, are they going to be it?
And the speed at which these players go and the level of talent in the air. Sometimes there's not enough boost on the field. That one to play out. Gimmick gets there, but the shot's off target. Could have been a sign of life for Oxygen. 30 seconds remaining. Gets cleared away. Justin with the speed will have to force Oxygen to start over from their own half.
Final 20 and a double commit on that right wall leaves Toasty having to use so much boost just to get over the ball so it doesn't just fall to NRG for the counter-attack. And yet, look what's happened. Another NRG counter-attack. LJ with 50. Pinching off that sidewall, beautifully shut down by Garrett. Midfield play, time waste supreme. NRG, game number 2 is theirs.
And one more goal for good measure. Hat trick there for Garrett G to end it. Squishy. Cheese Gimmick says, we'll play it high. You don't have to block my shot. You have to block his. And Garrett G just showing the general stuff. General NRG up 2-0 in the series, and they look as dominant as ever.
Daz, I know you're a massive NRG fanboy, and you won't say a bad thing against them. So I have a big question for you.
Oh, gosh.
No, it's a good question. Right.
Okay, all right.
Maybe I should ask this when this series is done, but I'm thinking it right now, and I'll definitely forget because I've got a terrible memory. We say that NRG, they play to their opponent. If they think they can beat them, they think they can beat them. They will do what they need to do. They'll get the dub. It might go to 5, but, they will still get the dub. Do you think they consider Oxygen to be that kind of team where they think, we don't need to play at 100%, we don't need to worry, we can play this at 80%, 70%, whatever it is, and we can still win because NRG are just that good?
Well, considering yesterday's performance, I think that they are playing up to Oxygen. I feel like when NRG know that they're beating a team and they have the confidence, like we saw them play against like some of the qual teams yesterday, they kind of took their foot off the gas and they just started kind of playing around. And if for the real NRG fans, you can tell when they're playing around on the field. And that's when the other team said, okay, we're going to come back now because you're giving us all this space. And there were series where they would be up 3 goals and next thing you know, go into overtime. And on a team where they know they can score 5+ goals on. So I think that they recognize that they made those mistakes yesterday and they're not trying to make those mistakes now. Just get the series over with, move on to Championship Sunday.
That was nearly a gorgeous goal from LJ there, getting a tap around behind. I would love to see that go in, but it doesn't this time. 30 seconds gone with no goal. NRG's flacking in this third game after getting a goal in 12 and 13 seconds respectively in games 1 and 2. I just think that with NRG, you're going to see them at this point now getting to a top 4 with, as far as I can tell, this isn't like NRG trying their hardest. And that's huge for them. That's amazing that NRG are able to do that. Oxygen, they need to put on that pressure. Make NRG respect them, because as far as I can tell, they're going for just a couple of silly plays just in there. Slowing it down, bringing 2 defenders into him, because he knows they're going to do that. Oxygen respect Justin so much here that Toasty and Gimmick both commit.
Yeah, he throws the ball at them, has a complete plan to play the 50 in front of the goal line, and they play right into the palm of Justin's hands. That ability to slow down the ball where in a fast-paced game, right when you're in front of the goal line, is one of those types of plays that Justin is going to be able to make with pure confidence, especially when you talk about a team like Oxygen. They need to put on the pressure towards NRG, but they have pressure because they know they're playing NRG in the first place, and that pressure makes teams crumble.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's the fear factor. Suddenly you're against the team that got to the grand finals of the major and you don't know what to do. But NRG are doing a spectacular job of showing Oxygen what they are capable of. It's just now down to Oxygen. Are they going to be able to return as hard punches as they possibly can? Or will the NRG defense just be too spectacular? Just under 2 minutes have gone in this game with 3 remaining. LJ with the air dribble, but Squishy shuts him down before that dream can apparate into an ambition.
Now Justin will drop that one down. LJ picking up this ball for Oxygen, gets a demo. Toasty gets dusted by Gimmick. And Gimmick will still try to keep this one in play. LJ beats 2 though, and Squishy last back. Toasty says toodaloo. Ball played out. Gimmick trying to get to the ball, down for Toasty, and they can't wrap around it. Oxygen working so hard to make this drive work, getting demos, bump plays, and still NRG are able to get it out of their own end.
So many good chances though, and I loved seeing how much Oxygen decided to swarm that goal. They have half a game left to just make it so the losers in this tournament so far aren't going to go down 0-9. Gimmick with 1 touch to LJ to receive that pass. Oxygen draw level.
And finally, they make it work here. You see the demo to open up a lane for Gimmick, play out. Gimmick plays that perfectly where he sees Justin on that back wall, knows he can bounce it off the wall. Justin's not going to get a piece of that ball, sets up his teammate for a free shot, and now Oxygen on the board. The pressure is finally paying off for Oxygen. They got to build on it. Game halfway over.
Oxygen recording more shots, more pressure on that target, but off kickoff. NRG, they do not want to be down for too long. Justin on the right wall actually stays up just to confuse LJ, and Garrett G taking over. 1 man in defense is not enough to stop that formidable duo.
Man, you score a goal on the general, you get confident, and the next thing you know, it's in your net. That's really how this series has gone so far for Oxygen. Every time that they've gotten at least a game tied up, and it looks like, okay, they're finding the blueprint, NRG strike back.
That's such a good pre-gen from Gimmick. Staying up in the air just to block out any of those options and then giving this counter-attack chance to Oxygen is huge. Toasty going low with it as well. Actually got it round Squishy, but Garrett G with clutch defense.
Now you'll see LJ pick it up. This is good possession for Oxygen. Justin plays it. Oh, Toasty didn't get a read on that. Garrett played it slow. Justin will pick up the mid boost. He'll have to play defense to block this one from Gimmick. It does get past him. LJ goes up. Squishy with the block. Is there a follow-up? No! Justin denies at the right time. What? Transition going all the way around. And Justin puts it in the top left.
Justin, how do you still save this? Got bumped by Gimmick. Use that then to flip. Still land perfectly in the passing lane for Squishy. And can then smash it top bins. That shouldn't be allowed. And
That's crazy.
Yeah, here we are. Here we are, Daz. My God.
Maybe Oxygen haven't given up yet. Flip reset from LJ. And Garrett G able to get the save. That'll be NRG's 6th save this game. And as we've said it, Oxygen been putting on some good offensive pressure here. But the defense from NRG is definitely fixing as they're moving upfield. Chance here in front, but Justin denies.
Oh, that was such a good chance for Gimmick just to take one touch lower. Doesn't have to go for the shot straight away. Catch it, then go for the flick high. You had Squishy in net on his own, and he's in the net. Go above it, and he's in a horrible position to try and save your teammate approaching, but instead goes for the solo, and it doesn't pay off. What I'm seeing from LJ here is so much nicer. He is turning it on. He is going for so many assists, going for bumps, and just trying to be as aggressive as possible. He's got the memo. He knows how to play NRG right now. It's a shame it's coming this third game, but LJ finds Toasty. Still Squishy to save.
My goodness. We're sitting at 8 now on the side of NRG saves. And it's been 10 shots from Oxygen. They're moving downfield, still looking for something. And they are knocking at the door here. But the defense from NRG, oh my goodness, LJ.
There's no way he actually saves that and then gets the flip out. It doesn't matter though. NRG, regardless, take the third game. That is going to be a 3-0 for the General. Awesome performance there. That is such a fun position for NRG to be in. There's still a chance though. We've still got one more game that is able just to start to bring it back for Oxygen.
Yeah, and I think we're getting a word. I think we got a tactical timeout. We do. On the side of Oxygen, they definitely got to talk things over here as it's just, man, when you put on that much offensive pressure and you put on that many amounts of shots against NRG and they're saving everything. You're demoing them, you're passing, and nothing's working. What else do you do? That, you know, I feel like they've really got to take this time to kind of figure out their approach.
Honestly, LJ's found it. LJ just started to really, the gears were turning in his head. I could hear them from here. He found out what the plan needs to be versus NRG, and it's to get in their faces. It's to be a little bit tricksy and a little bit annoying and just go for weird shots and flip resets and whatever you need to. And it's to bump. It's just to get in the face of NRG and make it so then they don't have the extra second of decision making that other lesser teams than a group topper gave them yesterday. Their group was one of the easiest that they could have gone through, and Oxygen did not 3-0 theirs, including Complexity and Envy, just to get here and then get slapped to the curb by NRG. It's a chance for LJ to tell his team, guys, do what I'm doing. Get big, get in their faces, just ruin their day. We've got one more game really to prove it, unless NRG manage to lose this one. Let's just go out with a bang. Let's get this top 8. Let's then head over to the lower side of the bracket, if needs be, but let's just figure out what we need to do. I back Oxygen's offense so much more than they've shown us.
Yeah, their offense has shown signs of life earlier on in this tournament, like you said, with big wins that they had over against Envy and Complexity, especially. This team has shown that, you know, they can hang with the big dogs at some time. So now it's about, okay, when you go up against a team like the General NRG, you can tell that there's a bit of a difference. They seem to have them kind of figured out. And for Oxygen, they're going to have to come out with a completely different style of play. They know that. Now, looking at things for me, I would want to see you had mentioned it earlier. We talk about LJ, right? LJ with some of those solo plays that he had kind of came out big here for NRG or against NRG, kind of opened up the defense. I want to see a little bit more of that. That way they can at least make this one a little bit more closer.
Yeah, NRG though, continue with the script. Turn it on maybe 5% more to try and shut down Oxygen, but they are certainly having to bring up much more of their A game than they were earlier on in this series. NRG, they can't be relaxed. You need to keep fighting to get into that top 4. Because if you can relax your way to a top 4, you may as well call yourself BDS at this point.
Pain.
Dad, so I watched that series with you, and it was nice to be in the same room.
Oh, yeah.
You can't just say yeah to that.
It still hurts. It still hurts, okay? Oh, man. But the general, of course, they're trying to get back to that point, right? And I think that's one of the other sides of this conversation is that, yes, they take second. Yes, Garrett's like, yeah, that was cool. But when you're trying to be one of the best team in the world, and you get destroyed like that, you know, it makes you definitely think, okay, we got to change things. We got to come out even harder in the next split. And I think that's exactly what NRG are trying to prove here. Not in just, you know, the group stage, but in every matchup. You know, they're going to have their own type of pressure, as every single team in North America are going to want to stop them, because they all want to be in that place that NRG was in that grand final.
Earlier on, we were impressed with Justin for bringing 2 players to save a shot. This time he's outdone himself, and they managed to get all 3 Oxygen defenders just trying to crowd around that ball. Squishy manages to squeeze it over the top, though.
I got to look at this again. Toasty, as soon as the ball gets past him, he's at that corner boost, tries to turn around, and he's just a little too late to get the touch that he wants. Plus, he has that pressure of Squishy going in for the pre-jump. Very tough scenes here for Oxygen. But Gimmick trying to put things back on track. Flip reset off the top. LJ manages to play around a shot. Garrett G saves it. I thought that one was in. Great stop there for NRG.
Even though Justin didn't save that, I adored seeing his movement, because he had 12 boosts. He knew he couldn't go up too early because he was in awkward position. So instead, he wrapped around on the inside of the post and left slowly, so that he could use his dodge then to clear the ball away. It didn't connect, but it shows his ingenuity. Brilliant demo by LJ, opening up that back line. Toasty to shoot, and a demo from Gimmick on his former world champion teammate to get a goal for Oxygen.
Look at that. LJ with the demo to start it off. Gimmick plays off the backboard, and like you said, he also then goes for the demo, giving Toasty an open net. Can't miss those opportunities. Oxygen tie it up, and they're still trying to keep it up. Wait. Oh.
God, nailing those fundamentals, Daz, is one of the biggest things that I think a team can do when you are down in ultimately the mechanics department and when you're down in the rotations department. If you could just knock out a couple of players from your position and you can get them a bit scared, that bump there, you shut down Justin without ever touching the ball. Brilliant ideas. Another demo coming in. It was Squishy on Gimmick this time, starting to return what they are being dealt. NRG stretching themselves thin, and Oxygen, maybe they can just about peek through that window.
Lots of bumps going on here. NRG, this could be a potential problem if they don't know how to manage it. Garrett plays that one, but it's off into the corner. Justin whips that ball. It'll go off to the side here. Squishy, what time? Does he have the boost? He does to drop that one down. Still getting beat out. It's Oxygen taking their time. They don't want to give up the ball too easily. Here to NRG, making them work every step of the way.
Good idea there from LJ to slow it down, to take it around one defender, but then tries to be clever against Squishy as well. Isn't quite able to make it pay off. Justin trying to fake out. I think it was Gimmick there. No, it was LJ. Now Toasty on that left wall, attempting to start a play of his own. Isn't able to, but a bump from Toasty shuts down the NRG counterattack. That was the main word of games 1 and 2 was NRG. Okay, they save it, and now they counterattack. Bump the man out of the way, and suddenly they won't be able to do it.
Yeah, those counters definitely a part of NRG strategy, but what do you do when you just take the defender out? LJ will pick up the score for Oxygen.
Brilliant pass from Gimmick, and then straight onto the bump, just scaring Squishy out of the way, makes him jump early, and then come knock him from the middle of the net. Oxygen, with, as far as I know, the first lead that they have had in this series.
Yes, first lead in the series for Oxygen. Now it's about if they can hold it. Bumps have been working really well, though. And for the first time, we see NRG on the back end. Justin, though, setting up for the double. Misses. Squishy tries to get there, but Gimmick will pick up his third save. Another save needed. Toasty gets there. Garrett G, the ball off the post. And it will still be the lead for Oxygen.
Oh, Dazzy told me earlier that Garrett was having trouble shooting, but that really should have been on target. At minimum, he was point blank range.
Yeah, it's been tough for Garrett. I mean, day one definitely saw a lot of crossbar goals from him. This time, I say he's playing much better today, but still, you can see some of those signs there. Now NRG working. They have this ball in Oxygen's in and for a long amount of time. Looking for the pass to Justin. Oh, the speed and the accuracy. NRG tie.
Spawns the dueling dragons out of the net with an assist from Garrett G. A rocketed pass aimed for his nose. The keeper knows exactly where that ball's going as well, and yet NRG can still play around the side of him. Final 30 seconds, the lead snatched away from NRG. It's now on Oxygen to bring it back, because in an overtime, it's a terrifying place to be versus one of the greatest teams to ever play this game.
We've had sweeps all day long. Will we have one here in the winner's bracket? Ball back to Squishy. Oh, he bangs the goal! Squishy gives NRG the lead.
The final 10 seconds is heartbreak now for Oxygen. Squishy receiving from Gimmick as if it was 3 years ago. The chance for Oxygen to take it out may not be here, but the final 10, vital. A nice flow kickoff from Justin. Squishy to block it low as well. No chances taken. Gimmick left with the ball. The flick high, but to absolutely no one. 0 seconds. Sees the ball hit the floor, and it sees a 4-0 for the General.